Hello Roatan, just in case you don't know it, this is an island off the coast of Honduras in the Caribbean. It's known for its scuba diving and snorkeling and those lush Caribbean rainforest vibes. It's a popular island for American tourists with frequent flights from the USA. However, I flew from the Honduras capital, San Pedro Sula, and it's also a popular cruise stop destination, which means it has become a little bit commercialized. So for that reason, I decided to make this video focused on some of the lesser known things. Now, of course, some of the tourists do these things. I'm not saying these are completely untourist things to see, but these are the things that you might not know about, and they generally support the local community and the local area. And you cannot say that about everything that goes on here. It's important to remember that Honduras and Roatan is a poor country. It's technically a third world country. So doing what you can to support the local economy is vital. To me, there's an obvious disconnect between some of the 5-star resorts making loads of money, the tacky wildlife tourism, and the hardworking people struggling to make ends meet. So without further ado, let me crack on with my top recommendations. My first one is Punta Gorda, the oldest permanent settlement in Roatan, where the Garifuna people settled here some 3,000 years ago from the island of St. Vincent. They brought their unique style of food, music and culture, which you can see all over Punta Gorda, and in the evening the street closes after 5 p.m. and everyone stops working just so they can have a drink and play some music. Next up, and hands down one of the best things I did in Roatan, was the Mangroves tour. I headed down to Oakridge and I went out with my guide Johnny. Johnny was found for me by Jeff and Glory, who are actually missionaries that run a coffee shop there in Oakridge. They are doing fantastic work, so regardless of any of your religious beliefs, they're doing great work with the local community, so at least stop there and grab a coffee and support them. The Mangroves tour was amazing. This place simply blew my mind. Just have a look at some of these shots. Johnny then also took me to a small turtle sanctuary where the guy there actually rescues turtles from being sold or being eaten or being mistreated, and then he releases them back into the wild. And one of the things you can do with Johnny or any of the guides there is go up to the north of the island and swim with nurse sharks. Now, I'm gutted I didn't have time to do this. That looks fantastic, so I do recommend that you check that tour out as well while you're here. And while you're down this way, do spend a little bit of time in Oakridge itself. Have a look around. It's a beautiful part of Roatan, fantastic views and a gorgeous harbour. My next recommendation is French Harbour. I absolutely loved our visit to French Harbour. It's the third largest community, has an active fishing community and has a very local vibe to it. So stop by, have a drink, soak up the atmosphere and just look at how cool this football pitch is, or soccer for my American friends. Now I want to talk a little bit about West End. You probably aren't going to miss West End if you come and spend a few days in Roatan. West End is the place to go for bars, restaurants, but often some of the smaller hotels and not the big 5-star resorts. What I liked here is there's a mix of locals, expats who now live in Roatan, and some tourists too. You can find street food including Balida, lively bars at the weekend, and the Roatan Chocolate Factory, a local chocolate shop that gives back to the conservation projects on the island. Very, very important. Moving on to the Roatan Island Brewing Company, an artisan brewery nestled into the lush tropical hillside of the Palmetto Valley. What a place. I really enjoyed stopping here. I found there's a lot of locals there. It's a real local hangout. Yeah, you've got your tours and some other people will be offering tours here. Of course, some of the cruise ships will probably stop here, but still, I really recommend it. Some really great beers on offer and some great food and burgers on the menu. And a quick mention now to the Roatan Rum Company. If you want an artisan rum, drop by the rum shop. It has rum cake, rum infused cigars, amazing views over the valleys. Now it's not distilled here, it's distilled on the mainland. That's mainly due to a lot of the waste that they need to produce that can't be done on the island, but it is well worth the stop if you like your rum. a quick note on scuba diving. If you're going to go scuba diving, please make sure you do your research and pick the right company. Often a lot of the big resorts don't quite have the same care and attention and look after the coral and look out for other divers like some of the smaller ones do. I've heard some pretty bad stories. I strongly recommend Moana Divers, Roatan, based in Half Moon Bay in West End. Go and check them out, have a look at some of their reviews and book them if you want to go scuba diving. Okay, moving on to the wildlife sanctuaries and the dolphin swimming. Please be very careful with anywhere claiming to be a sanctuary. That's often just another word for a glorified petting zoo. Make sure they've got decent conservation projects and they are actually releasing some of these animals where possible into the wild. Then moving on to swimming with dolphins. Yes, they may claim to be doing some good for the conservation in the area. They may be looking after injured dolphins. That's great. They may also claim that they're free, but to me there is no excuse with petting dolphins and holding onto the fins while you are pulled along. In my opinion, these dolphins are never as free as they may appear, and they are now reliant on humans and unable to survive in the wild. And there is just simply no excuse to petting the dolphins, feeding them and being pulled along by their fins and watching them do tricks. If you've got any comments about that, drop them in the comments. I'd love to open up a debate. That's my opinion and that's where I stand, and it's unfortunate that Roatan supports a lot of these activities. Alright, this video is getting long, so I'm going to whiz through some of my favourite restaurants as quick as I can. Number one is Sea Salt, a fine dining beach bistro specialising in seafood, open Tuesday to Sundays. Between West Bay and West End, and it can be accessed by the beach or by road. Number two is Silversides, also in West End, has nice views over the beach and the street below, so you can watch the world pass by, and as they say, they are an upscale restaurant gracefully perched overlooking a mesmerising Caribbean Sea. My third one is some Mexican street food, also in West End. I'll let Douglas explain a little bit about it.
Alright, my name is Douglas. I come from Tijuana border, Mexico, and we have the best tacos with homemade tortillas every day and the 3 sauce, red sauce, avocado sauce, and green sauce. Thank you.
Amazing. And just up the road from there is where you can actually get some street food in the form of balidas, which you must try when you're in Roatan. And finally, and possibly my favorite, is the Sunken Fish. This one is situated on Sandy Bay and is a great sunset spot which has a chilled atmosphere and a fresh seafood menu. And finally, for the nightlife, I didn't get much chance to explore it because I was always in bed early, I was always knackered, but from everyone that I spoke to, Frank's Hideaway Bar in West End is the place to be. And finally, when it comes to where to stay in Roatan, I'm going to pop a link below which has some properties that will suit every budget. So have a look at where on the island you might want to be, what you might want to have in walking distance, and what kind of property that you're looking for. So there you have it. That's my video on Roatan in Honduras. A little bit of Caribbean paradise, which unfortunately is got a bit over commercialized. So I hope you like some of my more local, unusual things to do. Of course, some of them will be touristy, but drop a comment below if you've got any thoughts, anything to add, anywhere that I've missed. I always like to know places that I've missed. Other than that, thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like the video if you're enjoying it, and turn on the notifications if you want to. But other than that, thank you for watching and happy travels.